Hello, beautiful people. Today's living word breakdown is going to be a little bit different than the other ones because I had some requests to explain some of the living words and how they break down and make sense if you actually know what the definition is, but apply this in a way where you can see that it explains it in a subtle way, but in a very deep way when you learn how to use these letters. First, I want to say hi and greetings to Jonathan Wright, the person who sent me some of these words. And he only sent me a few, but I always try to make it at least 10. So bear with me here. I'm just going to go with the list I have that he sent me. Let me look it up real quick. Just doing this with whatever words he sent me. And then I'll just read them off and break them down. Now, to spare you the fact that this is all with a lot of these are all with the same letter, D. But before we go into the individual words, D, remember, it's a lowercase d is on this side of a right, and a capital D is on the left, swooping out. So it's like literally if you took a capital C, put the line next to it and spun it around. D is the doorway letter. So that may just seem too minuscule and little, but these resonate on a huge, huge level. So let me just start by saying like the word dialect when we talk, the way we use our ways to communicate. So it's D as in the doorway letter or the way to or from, dia, but it actually has the word dia in it. So it's to or from, identified activation. In a 3D term, as it lie or as it linguals or as it, the light, L-I-T-E, the 3D thing. It's basically the shape of an L. That's why the word left starts over here, because you're on the left side. We consider the direction left, and it goes from there. That's why the right is literally that same thing with now we're on the bottom line going to the right. See how those things are shapes, but they're more than that because we know and we've put other terms to those meanings and everything. So dialect is literally to or from the identified active 3D as it lie expressed concept plus. So it's the dialect of that through 3D expressed concept plus. So the first word that John sent me was demon. Now just realize that demon is the to or from expressed. MON can be one, but you can say to or from the expression manifested ongoing notion. So when you exorcise demons, it can come to or from you. When you are possessed with a demon, it's in you, so it's to or from you. Demon, to take away from the one. To make any demonstration of any sort could be called a simple demon. But when we give the name demon to a specific entity or a specific word, it's something that's taking away from one. My demon. He's a demon. He'll take away from the one at that point. See what I'm saying? Demon. Now, in the same way, the word daemon, D-A-E-M-O-N, is the idea of a good spirit, like a to or from the active expression. A comes before E in progress in our alphabet. So we activate that expression. So it's activated and expressed through itself, to or from itself. Activated expression, manifested ongoing notion. So it's acting in accordance to the one. So when you say something like he sent me the word eudaemonic, it's like E-U-D-A-M-O-N-I-C. I-C is in concept or identified concept. So then you put E-U as in expressing the underlying or the unit of a to or from dia, active expression, manifested ongoing notion. So it's an expressed, underlined, not a demon, not a dreamin', a daemon. The way things just are activated and expressing. So to you, to the expressed unit, EU at the beginning, eudaemonic. EU is like the expressed, unanimous or expressed, underlying. So, so you would say eudaemonic as in like to or from me, actively expressed, manifested, ongoing notion, identified concept. It's good because I feel eudaemonic. So it's daemon or daemon, D-A-E-M-O-N. In that same way, this goes in names. Damon Wayans. If we want to say how things weigh in or how things plurally active, vitally identified active notion, subject, Wayans, That's an actor family. Damon did more things that were demonstrations or the demons we all fight, taking on problems. But he usually always acted as a character who was like either a goofball, funny guy overtaking some problem through comedy, or a football player or a fighter or somebody who is demonstrating things that we all go through when we battle our own demons. So him being Damon Wayans was like the Wayans of our demands, demons, and demonstrations. And in that same thing, Keenan just changed it a little bit, and he turned into things that were more, he was funny too, but at the same time he had a kinetic expressed upon himself, notion as notion. So he was always things like Jack Spade and I'm Gonna Get You Sucker and the Glimmer Man. He played more of a action, bigger guy. He was always a little bit bigger. So there's a subtle little differences, but it shows up in our reality the way it shows up in truth. And we just, some of us notice this and some of us don't. I mean, it goes way deeper, but I just want you to see these things apply loosely and deeply to everything. So the next one he sent me after demon and then eudaemonic, demonstrate. Now it's the same thing as to take away from the one, to D, or to take away or give to through D, the dia, the doer or the done, expressed, manifestation, ongoing notion. Now subject, a plus reference, activate, a plus expression. So you're straight as in subject plus reference, active plus expression. When you demon, you're taking away from this thing to subject plus active plus expression. This straight over here is more like saying you're what's the best way I can say straight? You're structuring at that place, structuring at, straight, S-T-R-A-T-E. But you're taking away from one or giving to one through a demonstration or taking one's attention to set them straight. But you know, like this isn't, those aren't spelled the same ways because that word means a specific thing. So it's like to or from the expressed, manifested, ongoing notion, subject plus actives plus expression. As simple and silly as these things are, or so, you know, childish, it's almost like saying 1 + 1 will always be 2. No matter how many times you do it in your life, it may not be so fabulous. And underlying all the stuff that we're doing in our lives, letters, names, vibrations, work a certain way. They mean a certain thing. No matter what other people say to be like, that's not true. It's not because it isn't. It's just because they may not want it to. It may face them with the fact that they've got to do something a little bit differently. They've been doing a bad demonstration. They've been letting out a wrong demon. So I don't want to go too off the side. I'm sorry. Demand. It's a to or from the expressed, manifested, active notion to or from one. So someone is giving a demand to yourself. You're giving a demand to yourself. It starts with a D because it's to or from, and it ends with a D because it's to or from. Something else is demanding something of you, or you're demanding it of yourself, something that isn't here already. So it's like to take away from one or to dia back and forth, to or from, the expressed manifestation, active notion, to or from, demand. So then you go to the next word, and he said develop. So not devil. Devil is to take away, or de, to dia, to or from, expressed, vital, identified 3D notion. So when you're a devil and you do it on purpose, that's the idea, that embodiment of that idea of to take away from the vil, but not with 2 E's as an expression for a village, but the vital identified 3D thing. So devil means to take away from the vital identified 3D thing as it lie. So then when we say develop with a D-E-V-E-L-O-P, it's to or from dia, expressed, vital, expressed as it is, ongoing, upward, to develop, to bring it up. Even though it's O-P, P is the symbol after O. O is encircled. N goes here as a lowercase, then you would go from the lowercase n to, I'll go on this way, from a lowercase n up to an O, then up to a P. We've gone from down, the last part of, here's manifestation, here's where it is. So the word down is to or from, ongoing, plural idea of down in this direction. Then we go to the O and then up to the P, because now we're on the other side of, so that lower, the O, and then the P goes up here. So when we go develop, that doesn't mean like we're literally lifting it. It just means that it's ongoing in a higher place. We're trying to bring it up, develop, literally. Whether it's developing a picture, now you added an idea of picture to it, but it's still there. Sorry if I'm talking too fast. Like I like to go off top of my head, because if I don't, then I'm not trying to structure it and be super professional. This is my heart always, and no one should tell me that I have to be this way because that's what everyone else does and they're professional. But guys, we've got to get past that and open our hearts and not be afraid to be vulnerable. I love you guys. That's why I say this stuff. Delight, to dia, the expression as it lie, identified, generated here plus. So to or from this li, this as it lie, identified, generated here plus. To take or give, delight. So you know what I'm saying? To not let, because D doesn't always mean to take away from. So D doesn't always mean negative. Like to be dead is not to necessarily be bad. Like the car battery's dead. That's a little bit different than he's dead. But the word dead means to take or give away, or to go dia, to or from. The expressed active to or from. So to de-add, when someone is dead, nothing else is going to be add to them. When the idea is dead, when the battery is dead, like you can recharge a battery, but when a thing is dead, it means to de-add. Nothing else can be added to it. So then when you say death, it's the same kind of thing. It's like nothing can ath. It's like math, but the de is not being able to activate plus here. It's like d active plus here, death. And then de-add is the same thing as D, or to give or take from, the active D, doorway in which it comes through. So you no longer, when you do EA, since it's out of order that way, boom. Same thing with DA for death, DAA plus H. So when you get into words like I was on delight, since there's no other vowel changing its resonant place, because vowels sort of carry a vowel until they hit another vowel. Like, we'll get into that stuff on a different thing. I don't want to go off too much. I got a couple more words. We did demonic, demolish. Oh, demolish was one I didn't do. To take away from the manifested ongoing 3D identified subject here. So it's like you're going to demolish a building. Well, that's the subject here. It's the to or from, expressed, manifested, ongoing, notion, identified, subject here. Now we have a ish, and we're going to demo, take away from that one, as it lie, identified subject here. So you demolish, I just demolished your will, or I just demolished you, dude, or the building got demolished, or, they were just unsurmountable goals, but they demolished them one by one. It's to take down that subject here, demolish. So the next word, I actually put on lex rex, because I want people to understand, like, lex rex means law is king, or nature is king, but not talking about man's law. So that's why I would not say law is king, nature is king. Now let's understand that L is 3D as it lies. Now E being the expressed, X being the center symbol. X marks the spot, or X takes away the spot, or crosses it out. So 3D expressed center. Now when you add 6, the letter F is the 6th letter. F means familiar. So between L and R, there's 6, which is the familiar number, F. So between left and right, when you get from lex and you're familiar with it and you do lex right, it's rex, as in the reference expressed center. So you refired the true expression to the true center, and it means law or Lord or nature, true nature, law, lore, those things, done in the correct way. Rex, as in is king. It's right to do it right, but it's left as law to do it right as rex, lex rex. I mean, I'm trying to break it down for people who don't understand the deeper occult terminologies. They go deeper, but you don't need to get lost too far in that stuff to help people open up their hearts and say, you can't treat me this way. And then all this deeper stuff we can learn without the threat of people harming us. That's what I'm saying. Get that threat out of the way so that we can all start actually caring enough to work on shit. And if we run into obstacles, then we work through them little by little. We don't just, you know what I'm saying. So, Cancer, a unseen C, unless it's concept with you, like they found your cancer. Now cancer is what we understand, but they had to look and find it. Unseen concept, active notion, unseen concept, expressed reference. I can't see, can't sure. It sounds funny to say it like that, but think again as a kid. Now, when you have cancer, it's unseen until you find it. Now it's a constant or a concept that you have now seen. So it's the concept, active notion, concept, expressed reference. Cancer does come from things you don't see. It doesn't just mean from the foods you eat. They come from stress too. You can overpower getting cancer with your mind, but we're not going to go into that kind of stuff right now. I'm trying to break down words. We can get in that stuff when people actually understand this and come from a place where their heart is in tune and they actually have the possibility of healing themselves. Other than that, they're going to be so toxic with all the stuff they're being fed, watching, poisoned with, that they're not even able to do it. And even if they tried, they'd end up messing something up. So last thing I wanted to do, there's the word comfort and come forth. So I want you to see how just separating a word with an E in between it is now it's expressing on its bottom line. When you say come forth, now you concept, ongoing, manifest, expression. So come. It has come, or they will come when they get here. Concept, ongoing, manifest, expression. It has two sides to it, depending on if it will or if it has. So then when we say forth, now it's the familiar, ongoing reference plus here. So when this thing, concept, ongoing, manifest, expression, come forth, familiar, ongoing reference plus here, that's when things come forth, of course. Now when you say comfort is when fort is almost like form as reference plus, holding the fort. I have a fort. We're at the fort, okay? That's a form or familiar, ongoing reference plus. So then when you put the word C-O-M or the letters C-O-M in front of it in the same word, now you're saying concept, ongoing, manifest, no expression in between here, just right to the form or the familiar. So you go concept, ongoing, manifest, familiar, ongoing, reference, plus. So where you are, where you've come to be, not with any E expressing outward, fort, not as in forth, when it's over here with the H, it's already here with the T. Form, ongoing, reference, plus, here, 20, to any. So when you understand these words, it'll all make sense. I know this sounds like I'm talking out of my ass, but what's weird is when I had my experience and I went past the scary parts and kept going, it was like, even though it sounds like I'm talking out of my ass, I guess you could say it's more out of, I'm talking out of my ask and I shall receive. And I received the answers that we need. And I'm trying to present it in the most loving way, yet informative way, so people can understand that this isn't just a joke and it's so serious. I mean, there's some scary shit that I know, but I'm opening my heart and not trying to pinpoint and label any people because I know the deeper reasons all this stuff's happening. I'm not speculating. I know it. And if you could listen long enough to see, you'd see that I'm not trying to manipulate you. I'm trying to teach you the deep down part. I just happen to be alive right now. I didn't write a book back in 1905 and die or something like that. I'm not some legend from before. I know those legends. I've lived those legends, but I'm literally just here right now. And I'm so here right now that all those things that we know about and don't know about as a whole, I do understand as an individual. And I know what's yet to come, and I know what's yet to have passed already in time until you find out about it in the future, about the past. Like, I understand all this stuff. And I'm trying to say it in a way where if people have questions, they can ask me specific things. But if they get so worried about, well, I don't agree with that because I heard this. I'm like, in a form that has happened. But in this physical reality, certain things are not going to matter to a big degree. The first step is freeing ourselves from any other being like us holding us down. And if other beings present themselves that aren't like us, that appear to be more superior, if they're more superior and they have the abilities to do it ever to us, let them show up. I would volunteer to talk to them. This is how silly it may sound to some people, but I've been that. So anyway, guys, I open my heart and I let the truth spill. And however I end up wording it that day, it's off the top of my head from my heart. So, I mean, I hope this all made sense. John, love you, bro. Talk to you later. And peace.